Hello chat. So I'm kind of mad that the JoJo video didn't do well since I spent 3 weeks on it, and in exchange for all of that stuff, I think it's fair enough that the next videos are gonna be just chill, laid back, rage baity even. So I'll immediately get into one of the things that I wanted to talk about, which is Yakuza 0 Director's Cut. No, I'm not buying Yakuza 0 Director's Cut anytime soon. Unlike Snowiest, Gokudoni, and the other RGG YouTubers, I'm actually standing my ground for once. And, okay, maybe standing my ground sounds dramatic for something as stupid as a game re-release, but still, you know what I mean. It'll give me some good boy points at the very least, especially considering what I think of Kiwami 3 and everything else happening with RGG right now. All the decisions, the messaging, the behind-the-scenes noise, I really couldn't care less about half of it. Kagawa, genuinely, I don't give a shit about it. Anyway, point is, I'm not buying Director's Cut. The weird part is, I've spent the past few years getting a ton of people into RGG, like actually converting people. Some didn't even touch the genre before, and suddenly they're marathoning the whole series. And because of that, watching the direction RGG is drifting towards now feels surreal. Strange. You know, honestly bizarre even. Watch the JoJo video. And Director's Cut is a perfect example of that. I don't want to call it a scam. I'm not gonna sit here and say it's a evil cash grab or whatever. But let's be real. What are you getting for the price they're hinting at? Manual saving? Sure, that's great. Zero desperately needed it. But is manual saving alone worth 40 bucks? 40 doubloons? 50? Hell, imagine if they even go full clown mode with makeup and charge 60. There's no universe where that's worth it, I would say. Then there's the retcon cutscenes, which... are those worth paying for? Absolutely not. And look, I don't want people experiencing the peak of Zero's story, like the thing that made this series explode for so many, in a version jammed with unnecessary stuff. The only scene that seemed interesting was the Yakuza one, and everything else is just why. Stuff that wasn't needed, it wasn't asked for, and honestly screws with the pacing. That's just not the way you introduce new players to something this good. And you see the pattern here, it's another no. Then next up, the dub. Is the dub worth buying the game again? I'm not throwing shade at dub enjoyers. Persona is my prime example. I started with the dub there, so now I'll always stick with it. So for every single Persona game I play, I'll always play it on English because I played the first one on English. The opposite is with Yakuza now, where the first one I played on sub, I'll always play with sub. But for me, still a no. The multiplayer mode, it looks like a novelty content you mess around with for maybe like half an hour. Fun, maybe. Worth paying the full price for? Absolutely not. Honestly, the only thing I'm waiting for when it comes to like multiplayer is Like a Dragon Source. That has ridiculous potential. That's the real future project to keep an eye on. So with all these stacked no's, the answer is obvious. I'm not buying Director's Cut anytime soon. And even if I wanted to tell people, don't buy it, it barely matters. The original is being delisted. You literally don't have a choice now. Why delist it? Does Steam tax RGG for occupying a game slot in their fucking store? Like what? Whatever. That's the video. RGG has been in a wild, confusing place this past year, and it's honestly concerning. I've made my video about the whole RGG shenanigans that's been going on, especially with the toxic positivity and all that kind of stuff. But this year has been something else for them. Not in a good way. And this is coming from a defender, so, you know. That's all. See ya and bye-bye. And I'm ready to yap about parts 4, 5, and 6. What a time to be alive, eh? Now, I will say this again. Definitely watch the first part of the video so you can sort of see my stance on the first 3 parts and my expectations of the coming parts. So, right off the bat, coming from the end of the parts 1 through 3 video, I will say it now. The parts have improved drastically. There's a lot of consistency and not many low points or dragging, well, save for part 4. But besides that, I guess I might as well start this off, shall we?